I'm Brian Kilb, Executive Vice President of Landaas Company.
Brian, when you're talking with investors about diversifying the stock side of their investment portfolio, size matters, right? I mean, you talk about small cap, mid cap, large cap stocks. What about small caps? Let's drill down on that. What are some of their advantages for investors?
Well, the thing about smaller companies is, by nature, they're more nimble and more able to adapt to changing economic conditions. So you'll often get the fast growers, the newest and the best, the innovators, the creative sorts that may emerge quickly, and sometimes that can be a pretty fun rocket ride. The downside, however, is that oftentimes they aren't as resilient to negative economic or market conditions.
So is it fair to say there's greater volatility in small cap stocks?
Absolutely.
Does the greater volatility of small cap stocks mean that retirement portfolios would be less likely to have big chunks of small caps?
Yeah, you know, if you take the long-term perspective, eliminating a very good period for small caps, 1975 to 1981, there really isn't a large difference between performance long-term. So you really have to ask yourself in the long run if you want to put up with the headache of a little bit more risk when it's not worth the reward over a long period of time. Now, having said that, there are market conditions that favor small caps, and that may be a time when you might add to your portfolio.
So here we are in the second quarter of 2014. Is this, in the business cycle, a good time or a bad time for small caps?
Well, I think the two things you want to pay particular attention to are where are we in the business cycle and where are we from a valuation standpoint. In regards to point number one, we're 58 months into the current expansion, not in the beginning. In the beginning is what favors small caps. So
what about valuations?
Well, in terms of valuations, if you go back to relative valuations, the small cap value, mid cap value asset categories are much more expensive than they've been historically. Large cap growth is still a little bit cheaper. So in terms of relative valuations, you'd want to favor large cap growth over the small caps right now.
And again, we're not talking about an either or. You want to always have some small caps in your portfolio.
No, absolutely. And it's always a function of, in the long run, what allocation suits you as an investor.
It's everything in balance.
Everything in balance.